Hey guys, Coldbrew here. Welcome back to another video. We have two new champions coming into the game with the patch as part of the Alice in Wonderland. We're going to cover them. One of them is the Fusion and the other one is the free legendary daily login champion, which I'm completely surprised on what they brought into the game. Honestly, as a free champion, it's going to shake up the meta for the majority of the accounts, not the end game accounts at all. It's gonna be crazy on how that's gonna go. So we're gonna cover those two in just a bit as part of the video. Before we get started, guys, click on that like button and the subscribe button if you have not already. It's gonna help me out. Thanks a lot. And by the way, if you're somebody who's starting the year thinking, okay, let me do something different, like I'm trying to read more books this year. I don't know why. Give me some of your book recommendations down in the comments. The one I've started is called Atomic Habits. I don't know if you guys know it. I've been reading that for a while now. So yeah, give me your recommendations down below. Let's get started. I want to show you Alice the Wonder, the one that's going to be free daily logging in. And I will say she's going to shake up the things for the majority of the accounts. As I've mentioned, 90% of the accounts will be using her as part of the rotation of champions, especially in PvP live arena. She works great. She's got a lockout skill, guys. It's like having a free warlord for everybody. It's gonna be nuts. So attacks one enemy 2 times, grants an extra hit if the target has any active skills on cooldown. So if they've been locked out, she's going to do a triple hit. If each hit has an 80% chance of decreasing the duration of a random buff on the target by 1 turn, that is actually pretty cool. That can actually reduce the duration of Stone Skin. So very interesting if you can use her for that. It's 100% chance, so can be actually quite strong. If you use it like as a part of an ally attack, I don't know. Clockwork Cyclone is her AoE attack that will be increasing the cooldowns when you book it out, because you should book it out. It's going to have a 100% chance of increasing the cooldowns of all enemy skills by 2 turns. She does have to do, a proper hit though. So no weak hits. Yeah, a weak hit against, forced targets, it's going to be an issue. 75% chance of decreasing each target's turn meter by 15%. So that will go all the way to 100%. Pretty good. And then if at least one of the target skills has its cooldown increased to the maximum, it decreases their turn meter by 30% instead. So already this looks great. Coldbrew, you're gonna say this is insane. How are they giving this champion for free? Basically, we have this champion already, and it's one of the sisters. I believe it's Alika. I think it's Alika, right? One of the sisters, they go well together. I think it's Alika that has this sort of skill. Yeah, attacks all enemies, 75% chance of increasing the cooldowns of all enemy skills by 2 turns. So another epic champion that has a similar kit to the legendary. Of course, she does not decrease turn meter, but if you wanted something along those lines, there it is. You have it already, and it's cheaper to book an epic than a legendary. So it's not like they're providing something that completely was not existent before. It's the fact that we can also get a 5-star blessing on that new legendary that is coming, Alice, for free by just logging in. So that extra 75 accuracy, it's gonna be huge, which you can't get that easily for an epic. The epic though, you can empower much easier than you would. So different things that you can do with both champions, obviously, but Alice and Alika, they have those 2 things which are very similar. Of course, you have the turn meter control here as well, and we don't know the multiplier yet, but it could be solid, but it doesn't really matter, because if you're building here with lots of accuracy, you're gonna miss out on other stats. So A3 Quinn Slayer attacks one enemy, will ignore 20% of the target's defense. If the initial target is killed, also attacks the enemy with the lowest health, will also ignore 20% of the target's defense. So it is an ignore defense skill, which can actually do like a surplus attack if you do kill an enemy. Could potentially kill another enemy. If that is the case, could do like a double hit, basically. Double tap, I would say. So TikTok is your passive effect. Whenever the champion attacks, inflicts 3% bonus damage to each target for each turn remaining on all their skills cooldown. So to each target, I'm guessing on AoE attacks, on single target, this works. So the bonus damage counted individually for each target. So what this means is that for each target, let's say they have their skills fully on cooldown. Let's say it's 4 turns on cooldown, that's 12% bonus damage. And I can imagine this also working in PvE scenarios, or at least should be working in PvE scenarios where the bosses use their skills. That sends them on cooldown, and that basically allows you to do more damage on them. There's an active effect as well, resets the cooldown of one of this champion's skills each time they kill an enemy, occurs once per skill. Once per skill, I'm not sure what that means. I'm guessing it's got a limited active effect, but it's still pretty strong. It's got a 3-turn cooldown, so still not that insane. And then we have an aura for increasing ally attack in all battles by 30%. So Alice the Wonder already looking such a great login champion. You get her for free. Does have the book requirement of 5, and then another 4 here, then another 3 here. So that's 12, right? 12 books, a little bit above the normal of 11 that we got used to having that amount. And then you also have the thing of, okay, you need to book her A2 for it to actually be impactful. You don't want to miss the chance of increasing their cooldowns by 2 turns. This makes her an expensive choice for your legendary books, but again, getting a 5-star blessing on her will allow you to get an increased amount of accuracy, which you might not have for, let's say, the epics. Also, Alika you might not have. Also, you can compare her to Basher. Also, we've been playing this game for quite a while now, so champions that increase the cooldowns have been around for quite a while, so it is possible you have one of those already. So this champion might not impact your account at all. Still a free champion. Let's move on to the next one. It's going to be Mad Hatter. Mad Hatter, okay, he looks like this. Pretty cool. I will say reminds me of the Joker a little bit, but I guess that's the theme, right? So let's have a look at the skills. The skills on this guy, who will be a fusion type event, are very interesting and quite good, I would say, for the Hydra. Could be used for the Chimera, but mostly I will say it's going to be Hydra content that you'll see this kind of stuff pop up. The reason is the debuff spread effect that he has, the ability to apply Hex, and basically those 2 skills don't really work on the Chimera. So A1, each hit has a 25% chance. This will jump up to 50 when you book it to steal 1 random buff. Each hit also has a 75% chance to apply debuff spread effect, taking 1 random debuff from the target and placing it on all enemies under Hex. So they have Hex, you do the debuff spread, you spread around, let's say, decrease attack, block buffs, stuff like that, from the one head of the Hydra to every other head. And the chance for the debuff spread is 100%. So that's pretty good. The stealing of the random buff, that can be nice. It can be used for things such as, let's say there's a reflect buff up on one of the heads of the Hydra. You have the skill stealing that buff. That's actually pretty cool. So A2 is the mixture most foul, is the AoE attack, 75% chance of placing a Hex debuff and a 25% weaken debuff on all enemies for 2 turns. The ally with the highest critical damage will team up and join the attack. The ally joining the attack will use the default skill. The damage dealt by the ally joining the attack will increase by 10% for each debuff on the target. So depending on the amount of debuffs, you'll see a lot more damage. This can actually work very, very well with champions. Pairing Mad Hatter with other champions that have high single target damage skills, let's say Toshiro, he can work as an ally attacker basically for this one. If you have Toshiro and Mad Hatter, Toshiro already deals a ton of damage. I could definitely see Mad Hatter be very useful for the Chimera, just because of these reasons, because you apply the weaken debuff, okay, on the enemies, and you also have the ally attack possibility here. Although it's not an all ally attack, that is kind of a problem in terms of overall damage boost. And if you compare it to Mikage, obviously lots of gaps here in terms of power. Obviously, we're talking about a mythical, and this one's just a legendary. I'll say so far the fusion lacks a little bit comparing it to the login champion, but still. Let's have a look at the A3, which increases the duration of all buffs and then decreases the duration of all debuffs on all allies by 1 turn, then also feels Terminator by 20%. 3-turn cooldown, again, similar to what Mikage has. If we compare their skills, very similar so far, except of the ally attack, which is not an all ally attack. And I just like the fact that he does like an AoE attack. Hopefully is like a strong AoE attack, but he also places the Hex and Weaken after the attack. So it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Overall, his kit so far, good. Every 10 turns taken by allies heals all allies by 20% of their max health. This is where he becomes way more interesting in terms of his overall support abilities. He basically becomes now a healer. And again, I'm going to call out the Chimera, where you are supposedly trying to build teams, taking multiple turns, comparing them to the Chimera. So spamming that Terminator. This will heal you back up to full very quickly with 10 turns taken by allies very quickly, especially if you got something like a 9-piece Merciless running Relentless, stuff like that. It's going to help out. And the True Fear debuff that can actually be applied, I believe, on one of the Chimera heads. So that is actually pretty cool. And then if there are multiple champions of the same team, only one skill will activate. That's okay. Increase ally accuracy in all battles by 60. That is an overall good aura, but is he going to be a game changer for you guys out there who struggle a little bit with fusions? I'm going to say not really. He's not going to be a game changer from what it looks like. The kit is there to be great in terms of Terminator boosting, buff boosting, debuff decreasing, Hex, Weaken. Already looks very strong for the Hydra, having the ability to apply Hex. I can see definitely his place being in the Hydra for the majority of accounts out there where you might be lacking. That Hex debuff is not easy to acquire. So getting Curse Set, not easy to acquire. I think like Ice Golem is very close to the difficulty for Fire Knight, especially if we're talking about the hard mode. The normal mode 20, I would say Ice Golem falls a little bit off in terms of the difficulty. But if we compare the hard mode 10, Ice Golem to hard mode 10, Fire Knight, they are the 1 and 2 in terms of difficulty, with Fire Knight being number 1, I will say, because of the sheer amount of turns you need to take. So overall, these two champions, very cool. Alice, I'm going to give her a solid, I don't know, without testing her, 8 out of 10. And Mad Hatter gets a solid 7 out of 10 in terms of usefulness. Alice, everybody's going to have her, so everybody will be looking out for guides and stuff on her. Mad Hatter, not so much. I will see people just ignoring this fusion, I will say. If you're somebody who ignores fusions, if you're somebody who's just up on collecting them, you know the number 1 rule for actually picking up these fusions is do every single event and you'll pick it up. Wow, it sounds like amazing advice, coldbrew, but it is the reality. That's how it goes. Thank you all guys for watching. Subscribe if you have not already, and I will see you in the next one. See ya, guys.